You all right? My name's Paul, got autism, and I make random videos based on my version of autism. Being an older dude as well, that's going to be factored in there. Late diagnosis, whatever you want, it's all under the same umbrella for me. And I stick the videos on YouTube just in case anyone wants to watch them. I've still never advertised these. Quite proud of that. Um, but anyway, this is the request section where I do things people have requested. And I do have a nice thick folder full of suggestions. Just got to get around to them. And I'm sort of trying to do the next few videos in the request bit about the tests people want me to do. Because people just like to pick apart people's brains, I think. So the plan is I'm going to do this one is about anxiety. So I'm doing all the tests that are available anyway, based off the website on Clinical Partners website, which is a website in the UK. I don't know them, I'm not endorsed by them or anything like that, but the tests are really simple to take and you don't have to make an account to do them. So, what I'll do is I'll read the question. The answers are never, rarely, sometimes, often, and very often. One extreme to the other. So I'll tell you my answer and I'll try and give you an example as well. And then at the end, I'll tell you the result and do them yourself. Let me know what you scored. Let's see if we're score buddies. All right. So yes, this one is an anxiety-based one. But if you've got a suggestion for a topic, just send me an email at oldandautistic@gmail.com. Mention the topic, give me a little bit of a reason why you want that topic covered, or maybe an example of it. So it helps. And I will hopefully get around to doing it. And I do want a nice big fat folder of all these topics because it'll help the channel go on longer. Not that many people want that, but it's a fun little hobby for me at least. So, anxiety. Let's rock. I already think I know I will score on this because I know what I live with every day. So, question one. I find it very hard to unwind, relax, or sit still. Very often. I get to the point where I haven't got the attention span for a film, because I've got to sit down for between an hour and a half to 3 hours. If it's like an Avengers film or whatever, great, I've got the hiccups. Um, so yeah, I'll get to a point where I've just got, I can't really sit down and watch that because just too much going on. It's got to the point recently where I haven't got the attention span for television either. I don't watch much TV, I'll be honest, but there are shows I like. Like I like watching wrestling because I'm a big kid. I like football, but that's 90 minutes worth of watching a football match, whereas it takes 5 seconds to see the result at the end. So I do find it difficult. I find it difficult to relax. Like if you were to say to me, Paul, which would be a good start because that's my name. But if you were to say, Paul, sit down, just relax, don't do anything, just chill your beans, calm down, I wouldn't be able to do it because my downtime, like I said, I want to do a video because it started to be a hobby I'm enjoying, I'll be honest. So I apologize I put you through it for personal gain. If I'm not doing this, I'll be playing Football Manager on the PC. If I'm not playing that, I'll be playing City Skylines. I might even play The Sims on occasion. I've got Fallout 76, Grand Theft Auto, just games to play. It's like whatever I'm doing, I've got to be doing something because that's kind of my version of relaxing. Just sitting there in silence with nothing around me is the rarest of rare occasions and might happen once every 2 or 3 years. To do more than an hour of that blows my mind. Um, but yeah, I can't settle is the answer. So yes, very often. Question two. I have had stomach problems such as feeling sick or stomach cramps. I am not making this up. I've had a problem with my gut for the past couple of months. It's not causing me pain, but it's causing a bit of discomfort. Comes and goes. Probably should see a doctor. I know. Um, but yeah, I mean, I had this pain. I had these issues a few years ago. When my best friend died, I ended up with this pain just under my ribs on the left side, and it made me pee. Like I could go to the toilet upstairs, flush the chain, go downstairs, and go straight into the toilet and do another full empty. Flush the chain, go back upstairs, do it again. I could literally repeat the process. I was weeing every 5 minutes, and that was at best if I could hold it in. So obviously, I thought there was something dodgy going on downstairs. Went and had my stuff tickled by a doctor. They couldn't find nothing wrong. I went for this scan. I had a tube put where you don't want one if you're a bloke or a woman, but then um, couldn't find nothing wrong at all. So then I'm researching on the internet because I'm asking doctors what on earth could it be, and they just don't give you an answer. And credit to one doctor, he did say, I can tell you what it isn't. It isn't cancer. It isn't tumors. It isn't, and he gave me all the things I'm petrified of. He, gave me the reassurance it wasn't them. And I only need that. I just need the reassurance to know it's not something deadly. You know what I mean? I'll try and live with everything else. So yeah, that I had for 2 years. And then one day it just wasn't there anymore. And then about 6 months later, it came back. And then I started doing rowing on a rowing machine. I'm not fancy. I haven't got a boat or a stream. And the pain was back, and then it went into me back, which was really weird. And now it's kind of been gone for the longest time it's ever been gone for. But yeah, I get all these weird ailments, is what I'm getting at. So yes, very often. Question 3. I have been irritable or become slightly annoyed. Yeah, but that's just my nature. I mentioned it when I did the ADHD test. I plan things so much to the finest minute detail. It annoys other people. They're like, oh, don't worry about all that. It'll be fine. So we end up going with their route, and everything I thought of and knew would go wrong goes wrong. And I start getting frustrated, and they don't see why I'm frustrated. It's either like, oh, you've got a short fuse. It's like, I haven't got a short fuse. I've got a short fuse for fools. Short-sightedness. So because my mind constantly works that way, and I'm always trying to think of stuff and make sure everything's all right, and everything's got to be perfect, and I want it to break, then yes, when it does break or whatever, or something just starts to get changed at the last minute, I get very annoyed, very often. Question 4. I have experienced shortness of breath. Yeah, because I'm fat. Yeah, I do know what that means. Yes, I have. I remember once when I was working in Edinburgh, and it was the height of peak season. This is a past life when I used to work on holiday complexes. Like the toilets were broken, the beer needed changing, the tills needed, change. The entertainment hadn't shown up. The building was at full capacity. It was red hot with no air conditioning. People were complaining, kicking off. There was injuries, like first aid was needed. Someone had robbed the arcade machines. It just went mental. And I just remember going in the cellar, and it was like I was crying, breathing. You know when you cry and then you breathe in and do that sort of quick inhale thing? I was doing that, but I wasn't crying. It was sort of like, I can fix all of this, but not at once. And everything needed fixing at once, and I just got really, really sort of panicked about it. And that kind of broke me and triggered me then for, like, now in life, when I'm thinking of things for work, the second I can get an email or a quick text off someone I work with who's fortunate enough to have my personal number, they can send a text going, "We need to talk in the AM," and my forearms get this instant, like this sharp shock across them, and I get dead weak and I shake, and my breath starts going. So I'm like, what went wrong? What's happened? Why do we need to talk in the AM? Why can't you phone me right now? And I start getting really, really flappy. It's no good. So yes, very often is the answer. Question 5. I felt dizzy and unsteady at times. Mate, all the time. That's just life now. Like I say, sharp pains, the shortness of breath, I go dizzy. When I'm stressed, I'm dizzy. That's just the way it is. And unsteady, yeah. And this is actually really interesting because I'm always fearful I'm losing like muscle mass in my thighs. I think, why are my legs just not feeling like they're working properly? This is interesting. Maybe I do need to go to a doctor because that one makes ridiculous sense to me. Feel dizzy a lot more often, and the weakness in my thighs makes me a bit uncoordinated, and I hate the feeling of that. Very often. Question 6. I have had difficulties with sleep, including waking up early, finding it hard to go to sleep. Yes, if you've met me in any of the years I've been alive, you will find that's been my problem. As an adult, anyway. I don't remember being a kid too much. But yeah, when I go to bed, I have these things from Holland and Barrett. I don't know if they're anywhere outside of the UK. Just a herbal shop, I think is the best way of saying it. And they sell these sleep aids, these little gummies. And I have one of them every night just to try. They're probably not even anything, but it's to try and potentially, make me feel a bit more sleepy. Luckily, having a puppy makes you a bit tired, but I find it very hard to go to sleep. But the second I'm awake, there is no point in trying to go back to sleep. So if I wake up at 4 in the morning for the toilet, that's it. I'll maybe lie there for an hour, hour and a half. My mind goes, "What's that? We're awake. Shall we think of everything ever invented in the world ever?" And you go, "No, I just really want to sleep. Brain, please go to sleep." So yeah, I mean, sleep and me, I've given up trying to sleep. I've given up expecting to get a suitable amount of hours. It just is what it is now. That's how long it's been going on. And the reason I won't get proper medication to help me sleep is I've got quite a fear of chemicals being in my system when they don't need to be there. So when I've got like low mood, when I'm in the depressed states, when I've been depressed, I don't want, the medication like the citalopram and what have you to bring me out of it. Although I will admit, absolutely openly admit that earlier this year, I was ready for it because I'm sick of fighting myself these days. But I've always been a great believer in nature will cure you. Like with my sleep, for example, if I just go wild camping for 2 nights, I don't sleep. But it does let my body know, look, mate, it's pitch black now. You can't see. Your eyes aren't good enough to see in this. So rest. Don't move. You'll injure yourself. Rest. But then the sleep's broken because you've got pheasants and grouse laughing like the Joker, proper scary. Every little noise keeps you alert. So your senses get tired. And by the end of them couple of days, you come back to civilization and back at home. Oh my goodness, that shower feels amazing. Your body's aching. And then you crawl into your pit. Oh, mate, that sleep is unbelievable. So, I've always been more of a believer in letting nature do its thing. Because I just don't like the idea of chemicals being in my system full time, even though I probably eat a lot of crap that's got more chemicals in than sleeping tablets. Yep. But very often I don't sleep. Question 7. I have felt panicked and overwhelmed by things in my life. Who hasn't? That's life, isn't it? Yeah, of course. I panic if I think I'm going to be late. That's my usual daily panic. And it's not because I set off late. Like I do my traveling, I'll go on Google Maps. I will say what time I want to arrive by. And then it tells me the quickest time versus the longest time. And I always set off at the longest time just to, you know, make sure I've got time to go to the service station for the loo. Because my trip's usually 4 hours each way. But still, if there's roadworks, if there's a traffic jam, if there's an accident, I just panic like crazy because I think I'm going to be late, and I hate that. And overwhelmed just all the time. It's just just what it is these days, isn't it? Like if I dare be foolish enough to put the news on, which I don't, because I don't read, watch, listen to the news. My news comes from other people, but I hear about what's going on in the world, and my mind does not want to process any of it 1% because it doesn't understand it. So people think I'm ignorant, people think I'm rude, like I don't care about the plight of other people out there in the world. The reality is I've got to look after me first to then care about others, because I spent the longest time of my life caring about everyone else and not me, and I suffered for it and they didn't. So when I started looking after me, and I made sure I was all right. Other people weren't too happy about that. Um, yeah, so I can't comprehend what goes on in the world because I just think there's two types of people. I think there are those who can sit down and have a mature conversation and agree to disagree if need be. And there are those who don't have that maturity and will go to war over things they don't like. Um, but yes, the reason I stay away from things like the news is because it does overwhelm me and it does panic me when I hear about certain things. So, yeah, very often. Question 8. I have felt nervous and on the edge. Obviously, all day, every day, doesn't everybody? Yeah, always. The second I hear an email ping at work, that's it. Petrified, wondering what was that? Oh no, who's emailed me? What are they complaining about now? What's gone wrong this time? Um, and even on like when I go to work on a Monday and I turn the computer on because I've got to do my emails first thing to get them out of the way. And you turn the computer on and just walking into the room where I've got the computer, I get anxiety. I believe, because I've got the nerves. I am on edge. I turn it on, I load it up, and then I'm pressing that Outlook button, seeing the Outlook loading symbol, and then looking at the bottom saying connecting to Microsoft Exchange or whatever it says, and then your emails come in. So I don't even look at them. I look in the bottom corner, see the amount of unread emails, and then I slowly look up. I drop it down to make sure it's just the very, the sort of the first email that came in is the only one I can see because I like to answer them in order, and I don't want to see because otherwise, if something's detrimental or bad or something's not good, there'll be too much focus on that, and I'll forget about the others. So yeah, I just feel nervous about that. I feel nervous about having to go to the shops. Very nervous at the dentist. So if I have to go to the shop outside of my normal hours that I'm willing to send myself to the shops, I get nervous about. Yeah, just say yes, Paul. It's quicker. All right, this is weird. Question 9. I have trembling hands. Yes. Obviously, I don't know if you can see them on there, but they do tremble. My fingers twitch like I've got electrodes just stuck to them. And I hate it. And I got really scared that I had Parkinson's because I'm just whatever happens, I just assume the worst. I went to the doctor about it, and it was embarrassing because the doctor, the doctor I went to, because I felt really weak as well. I had the weakness in my arms, and this is where it was saying down there about weakness in your muscles or whatever. It said, I had real bad weakness in my arms, in my forearms, my hands were shaking, my legs were weak, felt like my coordination was gone. And the doctor was like, right, I need you to push my hands. So I pushed her hands. And then she's like, I need you to like slowly bring your finger in and touch your end of your nose. I did that. And then she put these two fingers together and she goes, I need you to pull me towards you. And because I was so petrified and fearful of having the worst, I just grabbed her fingers and I pulled her. And she nearly ended up on top of me. Now if she was, in a bad marriage and fancied bald men with beards, she could have stuck her lips on me as if it was a come on move. Or, obviously, the more likely scenario is she would have like panicked and got me barred from the doctor's surgery. But I can't go and see her now because I'm embarrassed about that because I didn't realize she just meant a little bit of effort. But I was like, come here. That wasn't good. But that's really interesting because I do, and sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll watch my fingers and I can just see like twitching across my fingers, like there's a bit of static electricity in there, and I don't like it, and I make fists and I go, oh, and I put them down as if it never happened. So that's very often, and that's really, really interesting. Question 10, final question. Actually, I never told you how many there were. So, question 10, I seem to be constantly worrying about things. Yeah, very often. That's me, that's life. I worry about everything. Like the dentist, when the dentist did bad things in there and turned out he was a con man. I have to make that visit to the dentist again, a new dentist. I'm fearful he's going to say, you've got to have them removed. So then, having them removed, I'd have to know, well, what comes after that, because I need those teeth. They're my chewing teeth. I'll need teeth there. So I don't want to wear like a pallet with false teeth in. I don't want to wear false teeth. What can I have? What are the solutions? And if they do have to come out, I'll have to go under, general anesthetic, whatever it's called, the anesthetic, where you're knocked out anyway and you come around telling people you love them and all that stuff. I'd need that, and I'd probably need it twice because the teeth are on different side of my mouth. I just worry about everything. And, you can walk into the dentist and he'll go, yeah, yeah, they just need to be taken out, repacked, and refilled for your fillings. I just panic about everything. I'm the guy who has like pretend arguments or replays the arguments that he's had in the shower with his shampoo bottle, with his body wash bottles, to see how it could have come out. So I just worry about everything. So the anxiety test has been quite interesting. So let's click very often and see where we end up. Bum, bum, bum. All right, then. So I've got the results, and it says these results indicate that you are likely to be suffering with an anxiety disorder. All right. So the score bar has unlikely 0 to 10, maybe suffering 11 to 26, and likely between 27 and 40. I got top marks. I've got 40. And obviously it'll waffle. People with anxiety disorders can also suffer with other conditions such as depression or OCD. I'm going to do them tests anyway because they've been asked for. But that's really interesting. What to do next? Give us a call. Oh, man. But a couple of them questions were really interesting. So thanks, people who've asked me to do an anxiety test, because you've opened my eyes a little bit there. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I need to go now and go and talk to another human being and let them know just how interesting I found this one. All right, so do it yourself. Remember, the website is clinical-partners.co.uk. Let me know how you get on. And if you've got topics, let me know at oldandautistic@gmail.com, and I will put them in the folder and try and getting around to covering them someday. But until then, from a guy who's crazy anxiety based, according to this test, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep smiling.